Hi, I'm Claire Bowman. On this Cake Lace DVD, I'm going to talk through all the different aspects of how to adhere and make and use your cake lace to its best advantages. Timings, which are really important. Also, cake lace is so versatile, you can just use a little bit of it as an accent on a cupcake. Or on this cake, I've used Angelica and I've also used Anastasia just to pick out in our new gold cake lace some accents just to break the cake up and give it a wow factor. On this cake I've used Anastasia again, but this time I've actually supported in the middle and lifted each tier so that I've been able to drape it and actually royalize a small detail below and above, but it looks absolutely stunning hanging down. But you can see how flexible it still is, and this is weeks and weeks old. On this one I've used the Angelica again, but I've just draped it at an angle with some beautiful roses on that cake. On this one I've actually dyed the cake lace turquoise and lime green, and I've used the Marrakesh design, but again I've cut out details and I've actually overlaid some of it. It looks absolutely stunning on a chocolate brown. I'm going to talk you through how to make the mix first of all. The first thing you do is you actually have a partea, which is a powder, and we're going to put 4 tablespoons of the powder into your mixer. Then we're going to add 1/5 of a cup of water, or 50 mils, straight into the mixer, and then we're going to mix on high for 2 minutes. Now we need to add 1/2 teaspoon of part B into our mixture, and then we're going to again beat on high for about 4 to 5 minutes till it's lovely and smooth. Once it's mixed, it is ready to spread straight away onto your mat. That's the beauty of cake lace, it's instant, no waiting. The mix we've just made normally makes 2 mats, or depending though on the actual design. Some of them take more than others. Once we've got it on, we're going to use the knife and we're going to start to work it into the mat. You can go in any direction as long as you get a nice coverage. We're going to keep going. Again, you can paddle it a little bit to try to release any air bubbles that are in there. Okay. Once you're happy, what we're going to do now is actually take the excess off. So you just run the knife across and you can see that you are removing the excess. Just keep going a couple more times over. Make sure that there's no excess left. And then you can pop this straight into a preheated oven between 70 and 90 degrees. Each oven can be different, so I recommend you buy an independent thermometer, pop it in. I normally bake mine on about 80 degrees in my oven, and it will take between 12 to 15 minutes for it actually to be ready. But I actually take it back out of the oven and let it cool down for 5 minutes. The chantilly is now ready to remove, and the way to tell is to actually just lift the corner and it will start to peel away. So what we're going to do, we're going to lay it face down, straight on to greaseproof paper, and I'm just going to use again my knife, and I'm going to gradually release the chantilly from the mat. I always remove about 1 inch to 2 inches and then move my knife along. And there you have it. Now, to actually store your chantilly, I actually store it in greaseproof paper. And all I do is double wrap it, and it will store like this for months. Okay. And just seal them at the end. Now I'm going to show you how to attach your ready-made cake lace straight onto a fondant covered cake. All we need is a little bit of cooled boiled water, and we're actually going to paint a small amount of water to the depth of the lace that you're actually going to pop on. Now, the beauty of cake lace is that it will stay moist for months and months and months. So if you have a big project, you can make it well in advance. You also have all the lovely ready-made colours at your fingertips now. So it makes your life a lot easier. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our bottom chantilly, and we're going to gently start from the base and pop on like so. Any little bits that are still not stuck to the cake, again, the tiniest little bit of water, and just pop it underneath and press down. Now the chantilly mat has 2 designs on it, a border and then what I call a middle section. So it's very, very versatile. You can also trim it down and pop it onto cupcakes. So there's our bottom chantilly on. Now I'm going to again just pop a little bit more water onto each section here, and a little bit over the cake as well at the top. And then we're going to get our middle section, and we're going to again place it on. And then, because it's so flexible, it will actually go nicely over the edge as well. Okay, and just a little bit of water where I've missed. patting down. Not too much water though, because obviously the cake lace is moist. The more moisture you put on it, the more likely it will actually rip or melt. So don't be too generous with your water. And there we have your chantilly. We're going to now use the Delphine small mat, and I'm going to put a coat of the white cake lace. I'm going to again spread this nice and evenly, backwards and forwards. Just a little bit more. And what we're actually going to do with this one is we're going to cook it, and then when it's cooled down we're going to put a contrast colour over and then bake it again, so we actually have a two-tone lace. Okay, so that'll pop into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. Next I'm going to show you how to make your own coloured cake lace. Again, start off with our 4 tablespoons of cake lace. And our 50 ml of water. Pop on high for 2 minutes. Now we're going to add our ½ teaspoon of part B into our mixture, and then pop that back on high for another 4 to 5 minutes. Now we're going to add our gel paste. You can use any type of gel paste into your cake lace. Just put some lilac into that, and again just beat for about a minute till it's ready. Now our lavender cake lace is ready. I've popped the Delphine mat out of the oven and I've let it cool down for 5 minutes, so it's cool to the touch, and I'm going to add this on. This technique can be very messy, but it's stunning when it's finished. So we need quite a lot. We're going to try and get a nice even coat over this strip. It does take a little while. As long as you've covered all the lace, it's non-visible. Now this will go back into the oven, and it can be between an hour to an hour and a half at your 70 to 80 degrees. Again, let it cool down before trying to remove, and there you have it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the two-tone cake lace designs and the technique. If you use a white or a lighter colour to start off with, you will actually, when you put your second coat, say black or dark red, you do get a little bit of a bleed, but I quite like the actual finished product. Okay, this one, the chantilly, actually is grey first of all, I baked it. Then I've put a lilac behind, and you don't get any bleeding because you're putting a lighter colour onto a darker colour, okay? I still like the finish though. That was the red that I used, and I actually put the black on top, and this one actually kept its colour a little bit better than this one. But again, they're beautiful. You imagine that on a grey cake, or this one on a red cake. Real contrast in colours and textures. Just have fun with it. I'm going to use the Anastasia mat next, and I'm actually going to use my latest product, which is gold cake lace. Ready-made, we don't actually have to mix it. It comes in a liquid form. It does take a little bit less time in the oven, between about 8 and 10 minutes. I actually air dry it because again, it only takes probably 3 hours to air dry. It's absolutely stunning when it's cooked. It does turn out stiffer though than the normal cake lace. Again, work it through all the different ways. Make sure you get any air bubbles out. Just keep working backwards and forwards on each lace pattern. And then we just need to take the excess off. So as I said before, this takes a little bit less time drying. But again, I can only give you a rough gauge because obviously every oven is different. Don't be frightened if you see little bits like a little hole, air bubble, just to go back, pop a little bit more in and then take the excess off. And there we have our gold Anastasia. Okay, the Anastasia, the gold that we made earlier, is now ready. And it really is easy to pop out the gold because it is stiffer. You tend to not even have to use your knife to release. It will just pop out. The one thing to remember when you're using the gold or the silver cake lace is that because it is a little bit more structured, that maybe sometimes you might have to help it on a cupcake or a larger cake with just a little bit of edible glue onto the back to adhere it to your fondant. Now we're going to put some of the gold cake lace onto a cupcake, and as I mentioned before, I'm just going to turn it over and I'm literally going to run a little bit of edible glue on the back of the cake lace. Don't put too much on because it can break down the cake lace structure. And then I'm just going to pop on and press down. It can take about a minute just to make sure that it is adhered all the way around. But the Anastasia isn't just for cupcakes and cookies. I made a feature of it on my wedding cake there, the gold one. Used the middle section and I think it looks stunning. Next, I'm going to show you how to make our new black cake lace, completely unique to us. There'll be no messing around at the end. You will get a beautiful black lace. Again, you add 4 tablespoons of your powder, partea. But this time you add 40 mils of water, slightly less than the white. And again, we're going to mix for a couple of minutes on high. I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of part B into our black cake lace and then pop it back on for another 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, once the cake lace, the black cake lace, is mixed sufficient, we can now spread it straight on to one of our mats. Again, this is a new mat. This one is called Sweetheart. It's a single layer mat. I'm just going to pop a little bit of the black on, and again we're going to work it backwards and forwards in to our design. Now, the black lace and the red lace that we do in powdered form does take a little bit longer in the drying process. It's normally between 15 to 20 minutes instead of the 12 to 15 minutes. Just take as much of the excess off as you can, and again that's ready to pop straight into the oven. The black cake lace is now ready. Again, it's quite dry to the touch on the back. I'm just going to lift the corner and you can see it started to release. So I'm going to place it face down and use the knife, and again gently release. Take your time, don't rush. Some of the more open lace designs, you do have to just give a little help in certain places. You don't want it to tear now that you've made your lace. Again, having the ready-made black lace available does make it a lot easier to work with, and you won't get any runs on your cake when you're placing it on. And there we have our Sweetheart black lace. I'm going to use the Sweetheart black cake lace. Again, just the tiniest little bit of water onto the side of your cake. I just wanted to show you how stunning the black is on a lighter coloured cake. Okay, a little bit more there, and then we're going to start to adhere the black. Again, gently press down. Now, if you'd have airbrushed the white cake lace black, you would probably not only have very messy hands, but you might get some smudges on your cake. With the black ready-made, there's no problems. And there we have it.